The Bamboo Project Podcast starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project Podcast. My name is Donivan Gray, the future $10 billion man. On the way to 10 billion, I decided I'm going to help create 1,000 millionaires, including myself. And not by being a guru or selling a course, but by doing the things I already love to do every day and documenting the journey to get there. I figure I'll make all the mistakes so you don't have to. My name is Donivan Gray, and this is how I will turn my life into a living. That's not my job. So
Whose job is it?
the producer. I am the talent. You think when they come to this set, they start putting the lights up and plugging in the stuff? No, they just come and they do their job. All right. You ever seen an actor be like, all right, let me get that pole for you. Let me put. No, they don't do that. You should know. You be on the sets. I like to start off by giving a shout out to all the people rocking with us and supporting the channel. We really appreciate you. We are currently streaming on all major streaming platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor. You name it, we on it. And if we not on it, we about to be on it. For everyone listening to this podcast and not watching it, you can find us on YouTube at The Bamboo Project. We have over 400 videos on our channel. You want to learn real estate? We got that. You want cooking tutorials inspired by Dr.Sebi? We got that. Travel and lifestyle vlogs? Got it. You want makeup and hair growth tutorials? Got it. Basketball? Got it. Turo? Got it. It's everything us. All the parts of the journey that don't make it to YouTube will be on our story. You can find me on Instagram at Donivan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, and my phenomenal, beautiful, amazing girlfriend, Anita Byrne, ANETABURN. The Bamboo Project is about turning your life into a living by making money off the things you already do every day. We made different playlists for all the things we are into, and you can find all of those links in the description box below. This may be your first time here, and if it is, welcome to the family. But for everyone else, this is chapter 3, page 111. Okay, this podcast has 4 different segments: life update, episode playback, Donovan's questions, and the topics of the day. All video and audio timestamps will be in the description box below. Today's date is May 4th, and it is 12:24 p.m. Before we get to the life update, I always like to start off with screen time. For y'all who don't know, I like to know how much time I spend on my phone, because if I am not taking advantage of my phone, then my phone is taking advantage of me. And if I want to become a billionaire, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to cut back on my phone usage. I already know my phone usage is probably going to be crazy. The reason that is, as I've said in previous podcasts, I have realized what the problem is. I don't think I have an addiction to my phone. And I feel like I might have had this epiphany more than once. Whenever I catalog all of the podcast episodes and have the transcripts written out, I will be able to see how many times I had this epiphany. This could be my first time. I don't know if it is. But the epiphany is that I don't have a phone addiction. I'm just really bored. And I think that a lot of addictions stem from the lifestyle of a person as opposed to the actual thing that will be making them addicted. My daily average for last week was 10 hours and 41 minutes, which was up from the week before, which was 8 hours and 23 minutes. Okay, it's up about almost 2 hours, a little bit over 2 hours. My most used app in the last week was YouTube for 32 hours for the week. Then my second was Instagram, which was 14 hours. And then my third was YouTube Studio. So Instagram being 14 hours and 44 minutes is about a little over 2 hours a day on Instagram. YouTube being 32 hours is about a little over 3 hours. No, that's like 4 hours a day on YouTube. 4 times 7 is 28. Yeah. So it's about a little over 4 hours a day on YouTube. So like I said, it's not really something I feel like I can do much with, because let me see. Yeah, it's one of those situations, like I said, changing my environment and then doing things that allow me to substitute out the phone time with something else. And a lot of times on YouTube, I feel like I'm studying a lot of, just studying the game with YouTube, and it's also entertaining. The things on there I like to watch and learn. So, I picked up my phone on average 91 times a day. Shit's crazy. And my first used app after pickup was YouTube. And then there's another thing I forgot to mention. One of the reasons why I have Instagram back on my phone, we had did a raffle like a week or two ago, or so the week before last we did a raffle, and I have not deleted off of my phone since. However, I have noticed that with this is the same thing I always notice with social media. When I don't have it, I don't really use it. I don't feel like I need to use it, because in that time period when I wasn't using it, all I would do was substitute Instagram with YouTube. So it wasn't like Instagram was the thing, like, oh, I need to be on Instagram. It was just, I need something to do, and Instagram was the thing to do, because Twitter is not on this phone, and I don't use Twitter at all. Like, I actually forgot about Twitter. It's just crazy. It's on my other phone. I just don't use it. So like I said, once I get to a point where I have enough going on in my life, it's like, hey, why would I be using that Instagram? So, or if I was to find something else to entertain me other than YouTube and Instagram, then I would probably be doing those things. Now,
like a Nintendo Switch.
Right, like a Nintendo Switch. So, baby girl, what is your screen time for last week?
Let's see. My screen time for last week, 5 hours and 16 minutes.
A day?
Yeah, and that includes Google Maps, which is 12 hours. So my total screen time is 36. Google Maps is 12 out of the 36 hours. So that's like 24 hours for the week. So 24 divided by 7. That's about like 4 hours a day. Yeah, it's like 3 and some change.
How many hours you said for the week? 20 what?
36 for the week.
I think you said 24.
Yeah, if I take out Google Maps, it's 24.
Okay, yeah. I'm like, that's definitely closer to 3 than it is 4.
That's true. So yeah, 3 and some change hours a day. But I think it's because I've been playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Nintendo Switch that I borrowed.
Is there a screen time on there? You should go check that out. They have screen time.
That screen time will be insane.
Let me see. They probably got one. You check. Where's your phone? Where's your screen? What's over there? Let's see if they have a screen time for Nintendo Switches.
Why do you want to do that?
Listen, we here. We already here.
Why do you
Listen, we gotta be honest with everybody.
It's gonna be wild. It's gonna say 100,000 hours.
What?
I be on it in the middle of the night, in the morning, on the bus. I think when we went to Philly, I was playing it.
Yeah, it only says that you could set a limit. I don't really see how to view it. Okay, so last week, y'all know that Melissa and I had a conversation that I brought up on the podcast, and I want to. Let me see. There's one person I would say, or one comment in particular that I was just like, wow, this is very thought out comment, and it definitely made me self-reflect. And I was like, oh, this shit slap. I'm gonna give you some context of what that was. The convo that we had on last week's podcast was about how Melissa feels like I'm not committed emotionally, right? Well, I said that, and then it kind of, yeah, but I don't think that she would have verbalized that, but I think that's what she was feeling from me. So I'm not gonna go through it. It was very long, and if you want, you guys can go to the last video, and read the comment, because there was some really good things in there. One of the things that stuck out to me the most was she said, it seems Melissa wants to feel as though she's not an afterthought as it pertains to truly being a part of your life versus just being in it. And I was like, okay. Well, I could see that. I could see her feeling like that. And I could see how what I do can make her feel that way. So I asked her, like, what do you mean? How would you define someone being in your life versus a part of it? Now, here's the analogy she gave me, right? And I was just like, this shit hitting. Okay, so boom. She said, example. You go to a store for a pair of shoes. You walk in, tell them your size and the styles you like. They get you a pair of shoes, you try them on, pay for them, and you walk out. Though the transaction was completed, there's nothing about that store that stands out. They didn't make you feel valued as a customer, and the next time you look for shoes, you may not even give them a second thought. Because honestly, their service was lackluster, kind of like meh. I can take it or leave it. This example is how someone may just feel like they are in your life versus a part of it. The other perspective of feeling as though someone is a part of your life. Okay, here you go. You ready? When you walk in, you are greeted. The rep asked if it was your first time there. Assumed it is. Thank you for coming in and asked how they could help you. You describe the style of shoe you're looking for, and that rep then presents a few options for you, allows you time to try them on, and gives you a 20% off coupon for being a first-time customer. This rep is creating a relational experience with you. Is that rep providing a service as the other store did? Yes, but they are also attempting to make you feel valued as a consumer. They are trying to show you that they value the fact that although you could have went to 5 other shoe stores on that block, you chose them. So moving forward, you buy 2 pair of shoes using your coupon, get thanked again, and leave with a see you soon from the store rep. They likely succeeded in establishing a relationship with you, not by being fake/unauthentic or inauthentic, but by showing you your presence is valued here, and if you didn't walk through our doors today, we will be impacted. After an experience like that, you will be much more likely to go to that store for shoes again and miss their services if they close down. That's how people react when they feel a part of your life. You value the overall wellness and existence in your space, not solely for the services they can provide, but for their energy and how they make you feel when you're with them. I was reading that and I was like, damn, bars. I was like, wow, I was like, okay, that makes a lot of sense to me, right? Now, here's why I say that makes a lot of sense to me. Because I feel like Melissa is a Ferrari. I feel like she's a Rolls Royce. I feel like she's, a very luxurious, high class, whatever category you want to put it, you put it in the Apple phone, whatever you want to put it in. I feel like it's Melissa, right? Now, the problem is I feel like that, right? But I don't show her that I feel like that. I just know these things. And I was like, if I had a store, right? Let's say I call it a Donivan store. We're going to call it that. And then Melissa comes to the Donivan store because, we got a lot of good things in here. And she's like, I'm looking for a vacation. I'm like, all right, cool. I got you, right? We go on vacation. I don't give her no hugs. I don't give her no kisses. I don't say nothing to her. I don't make it exciting. I just go, all right, we're on a vacation. Let's go back home. And it's like, okay, well, I guess we did go on a vacation. So I guess that's what I wanted. So I got what I wanted, right? And as a store, the Donivan store, Melissa coming to the Donivan store, right? It's like, I could understand why she was like, yeah, I went in the store. I did get the thing I wanted, but I didn't feel like it was like, they just give that to vacation to everybody. Everybody goes in there and gets a vacation. I don't feel like they gave it to me. It's kind of, I would probably equate it to those times where you go to like Macy's and they just pass the stuff out to you and you feel like, oh, everybody gets this. Like, it's just not, I'm not special, right? And the difference for me is Melissa is special to me. It's just I wasn't showing that to her, right? And in my mind, I'm thinking, well, I'm doing the things So obviously that shows that you're special. However, it's not about doing the things. It's about how the things are done. And that's what I'm learning. Shout out to, I don't know her name, but her name on YouTube is Rare to Find 0918. And like I said, I was like, okay, that makes sense. I'm like, it's like clarity. That definitely helped me to put into perspective of to how to treat my magnificent, phenomenal, beautiful girlfriend over here. Because like I said, if we being honest, I said on the podcast before, I don't know how long ago it was, but like Melissa different. Like she's not the same as other people. And in my head, I'm like, she knows that because I said it. Like, yeah, I said it before. So it's like, okay. But you go into a store and then you say, hey, you a special customer. And they go, what did I get? And they go, nothing. And you go, what? What makes you special? Well, I just said it. You're like, what? But how's that? Exactly. That's how it was. So I have seen and understand how Melissa operates and how the world and this thing works. So I think that that was a very helpful comment, and I appreciate you taking the time out to write that comment. Anything you want to add to that, or should I just keep going? Okay. She's smiley. All right. Life update for last week. I don't really know what happened last week, to be honest with you. I do know that we went to Philadelphia last week, and they put in the new tiles, bruh. When I tell you guys, it's up, bruh. I'm talking about those new. The whole bathroom, just by changing the tiles on the wall itself, looks so different. Like that is a shower. I'm gonna put the pictures up here, and then whenever that video drops, it'll probably be in 3 months from now or so, maybe even more. But y'all would have saw it on Instagram already if y'all following us, bro. When I tell you, it's different. It's like, wow, I would go in there and shower all the time. I would shower all the time in there. And the other tiles that were in there, I was just like, this feels like I live in the projects. Like, I don't really, like, of course it's a shower, but like, I don't feel like this is like that nice or anything. So that was good. That looked great. We were able to buy half of the cabinets and then bring them to the place. We couldn't get all the cabinets from Lowe's, but like I said, we're at the cabinet step. I did purchase all of them, so shout out to my aunt for she opened up a credit card for me to use, and I was able to buy a lot of the cabinets, and I still have to buy the countertop for that. I picked out the paint. Well, me and Melissa picked out the paint because that's my wife, so we both picked out the paint, and it's like a yellowish, but like a light yellow because it matches the floor. Because listen, here's the thing. Let me tell you something. I know what my strengths and my weaknesses are. Okay, I know what Melissa's strengths and weaknesses are, and I know that when it comes to colors and creativity, that's her lane. So I'm like, listen, babe, what do you think about this? I'm gonna ask you what you want to do: brown, red, orange, yellow, purple, green. I give it to her. Hey, she picked the floors out. Everybody loves the floors. She pick out the paint. People gonna go in there and be like, wow, this paint's amazing. I'm gonna say, picked it out. Melissa did. So I'm just saying. We picked the paint out on Saturday. I'm hoping when we go tomorrow, because we have to go back again, I'm hoping that they actually have painted the house, because as far as I know what's left. Oh, and they finished tiling the basement floors. As far as I know what's left, they have to do the basement walls and clean up the ceilings in the basement. They have to install the kitchen cabinets and counters. They have to do the bathroom finishes and do the exterior, the front exterior of the house, and I believe do some cement work in the back. I think those are the only things that are left to do in the house, and then possibly this trap situation. Those are like the only things I can think of that are left. That's 5 things. Like in my head, that should probably take 2 weeks, and if they have all of the materials, it should take 2 weeks. I don't really know what else they may need, but like I said, I feel like they should be good. The vanity, we went out there to bring it. We thought we had 2 different vanities. Come to find out, we had one vanity with 2 different pieces with the box. So we ended up bringing one of them back home thinking it was a separate one. So now we have to bring that same vanity. So that's where we are with that bathroom downstairs. I'm hoping we can find some of that stuff in Philadelphia tomorrow. That would be great. Yeah, I guess I'm just really excited. I'm super excited because I think we can finally get it done. We have a lot of the money for it. Melissa is working different jobs on, just to add some more income to that. We want to do a craft fair. I want to do like 2 this month, possibly, to add a couple $1,000s into our account to then cover any possible expenses that could come up. But things are looking up, and like I said, y'all think like, I don't know what y'all think, but I know once the house is sold, it's gonna be a different animal. And maybe that's why I be chilling so much. I don't know. I can make excuses. But I think that's what, listen, I'm telling y'all. Come, what is it, June, July, August? Oh my God, we going crazy. We going so crazy. The goal we still have for this year is to make 100K. Honestly, that's the goal. Right now, the candles did, how much the candles did? Like 6, 7?
6,300 in craft fairs alone.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't include online sales.
Okay, so we're at 6,300 with the craft fair. So I'm gonna say we're about like 7. You think you make with the?
I can check.
Yeah, I think we're probably about 700 with that. Probably more than that, honestly, but because I think most orders are around between $70 and $100.
Oh, we've made over $1,000 online this year.
Oh wow, so we're at close to $7,300.
Like
$7,500 this year, off the candles. YouTube has done, so this year we've made $4,004 on YouTube, and we made $7,500 off of the candles. And
honestly, I think we were still doing total this year.
Were we? We might have made some money on Turo. I don't remember how much we made on Turo, but we're close to we're over to about $10,000. So between now and the end of the year, we have to make $90,000, which is not that hard. Like, I really feel like it's not. We're not pushing the candles too crazy. YouTube is about to start going up. We can finally add in the other businesses toward the end of the year. So the goal for this year is still to make $100,000. If we make 100K this year, then I am guaranteeing we make $1 million next year. If we make 100K this year, guarantee we make $1 million next year. Easy. Just flip that switch and get into $1 million. So I guess I'm excited for that. But yeah, I'm just waiting for the house to be done. That's where we at right now. What else happened last week? I don't really remember. Oh, it's definitely my birthday was last week.
Yes.
Yeah, my birthday was last week, and my beautiful, phenomenal, amazing girlfriend threw me a small surprise party with my family, my mom and my sister. So shout out to her for doing that. So I'll give you a little rundown how that went, because it's kind of funny. So my birthday was April 29th. Shout out to all the Taurus out there. And here's my thing too. I'm not into horoscopes, right? But I do know one thing. I feel like all Tauruses is cool.
Okay.
Like, I feel like I've never met like a corny Taurus. I feel like all Tauruses are like the same kind of energy for the most part. I feel like they all like I said, I'm not into horoscopes, so I don't know the other ones, but I know whenever I talk to somebody and they tell me they're Taurus, I feel like I'm like, oh, I could have. Plus, I knew that. I could tell. Like, all right. So shout out to everybody listening to this who's a Taurus. And my birthday was April 29th. I'm sitting in the house, doing what I like to do on my birthdays, just doing nothing. Melissa tells me, hey, my brother wanted me to come over to, I didn't even ask. I don't know what they were going to do. I think she told me, I think when I actually said something, I was just like, okay, listen, whatever. I get a free house to sleep, I'll be fine. So like 8 o'clock rolls around, and my sister is like, I'm gonna come pick you up to go out to eat for dinner for your birthday. Now, this to me is not abnormal, because if y'all know my sister, this is what she does all the time. She just wants to take me out to go do stuff, because if she doesn't, I won't leave. I just be like, I'm broke. I'm not going nowhere. So if she doesn't come pick me up and do that, then I just, like I said, I'll be chilling. She comes to the house. No, she said I'll be there in like an hour or something like that. I'm like, an hour? I'm like, oh, okay, sure. I start getting ready. Like I said, she said, oh, wear not wholly sweatpants. Because like I said, for me, I'm broke. So I just throw on the same sweatpants. I don't need to go outside unless I'm playing basketball or something. I'm staying in the house. I don't want to spend money that I don't have. So if she wants to take me out, I'm going to say, sure, let's go. I go outside. I'm like, all right, where we going? Shall we gonna eat somewhere in Queens or something like that? I'm like, all right, cool. So we driving, and she's like, ah, man, I forgot my shoes at home. Mind you, I live in Queens. She lives in the Bronx. And I'm like, mind you, at this point we're driving on the highway already. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. Like, I don't really care. Like I said, to me, it's 8 o'clock. I don't have nothing to do. But if you want to go home and go somewhere, I don't care. So we're driving, and I know she's going kind of fast, right? I'm looking, and I'm like, this truck is real close to us. Like, we're driving, and we're really close to the back of the truck. I'm like, well, I feel like we're speeding. But you know, if y'all know her, some of y'all obviously I probably don't. She is a speed demon. Like, drives. I think she drives stick. If not driving stick, I think she has like a semi stick, whatever that's called, and she uses that. But either way, she be flying, right? So I'm like, all right, we going kind of fast to go pick up your shoes. Maybe we have a reservation or something. I don't know. So we get to the house, and I'm like, something seemed kind of strange. I'm like, things just seem a little bit odd. Because I'm like, the thing that really threw me off too was she said, I got to get my shoes. But then she went and parked in her like personal parking lot. And I'm like, if you need your shoes, you could just run upstairs and come right back down to get your shoes. You don't have to go in the parking lot. So I'm like, okay, I think that she's throwing me some kind of like surprise, you know, me and mommy's upstairs, whatever. I'm like, all right, cool. This, like I said, this is not abnormal for her and my mom. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna, it is what it is. Cool. So we got the car, and I'm walking, and I'm like, they throwing a party for me, right? And I'm like, they know how much I love my girlfriend Melissa. They know how much I love her. And I'm like, would they throw this party without asking her or telling her about it? I'm like, that seems kind of odd. I'm like, she's at her brother's house. Would they tell her this beforehand, and then she goes to her brother's house anyways? I'm like, not Melissa. That don't really sound like her. I'm like, I don't really see her doing that. That don't really sound like what she would do. So I'm like, wait, is Melissa upstairs? I'm like, wait a minute. Now, because I'm walking, I'm like, wait a minute. This is way more than I thought was gonna happen. So I'm like, okay, I think Melissa's upstairs. So I sent her like a meme, right? And she didn't respond to the meme. I'm like, all right, maybe I'm wrong. Cause at this point, I wasn't really sure, because maybe she had played a time with her brother before. I don't know what they were doing. They were still gonna do it, so on and so forth. So I get upstairs, and I'm expecting, I don't know who's gonna be inside the house, right? I have no idea. I have no clue. So my sister opens the door. She's like, surprise, right? And I look around, you know, they got balloons up. They got just decorations, 28 balloons, just different things around. So I'm like, you know, I'm doing like the cool guy cheese type of thing, you know, because you can't be too excited, you know, you're a cool guy. Can't do that. So it's me and my sister in the house by herself. Nobody's there. It's just me and her. So I'm like, okay. I'm like, oh, they're going to pop out the bedroom. Right? So I'm looking at the bedroom door. I'm like, all right, I'm going to come out the bedroom door. So we stand there. She like, surprise. I'm like, okay. Like I said, to me, whatever y'all want to do, I don't care. We could have went to Wendy's, and I would have been like, all right, fine. So I turn around, and Melissa and my mom are like, I don't know if they were running down the hallway. I don't know if they sprinted. I don't know what they were doing, carrying each other. They pull up to the door. They're like, and I'm like, what is going on? Mind you, like I said, I really don't know what's happening at this point. I'm just like, okay. So I'm like, well, it's not out of the blue for my sister and my mom to throw me this party. Like, this is very regular for me. So we're eating, and then I don't know how it comes up, And it ended up being Melissa that threw the whole party, right? Now my brain starts doing the math calculations. I'm like, wait, Melissa threw this? I'm like, okay, if she threw this, she had that plan this from a minute ago. Like, she had told me about going to her brother's house from like a week ago. It might not even been more than that. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, so mind you, there's mad food in the house, right? There's like kale, there's jerk chicken, there's mac and cheese. There was something else, right? It was a cake, bruh, right? So I'm just like, wow. I'm like, this is a lot that went into this, right? In my head, I'm like, this is a lot that went into this. So I start thinking, I'm like, okay, so there's balloons here. It's a lot. So I started asking, like, wait, you planned all of this? Like, this, you did it by yourself? You're like, yeah, for the most part, you know, you orchestrated the whole thing. Only the thing, Neffy had to go get my mom. So they started explaining to me why they weren't there when I came in the house. I think they wanted to go get something else before I got there. Is that correct? Is that what happened?
We didn't have the candles, like the number candles.
Oh, they wanted number candles.
And then I wanted to put some more cheese on the mac and cheese.
So, and then here's another thing too. Melissa is very artistic and creative. So she's been doing this new job that has then what would you call that? Like, it's almost like damn, I forgot they were called in Pokemon. You didn't play Pokemon like that. Like a stone that like amplifies her power. Like that's what this job does. So now she gets to like use her creativity and now learns other things about how to orchestrate and properly use her creativity. So she was having a blast with everything, with all the gold colors and the balloons, and like it's like I would call like a curtain of gold that was there too, but like, you know, it floats in the wind and stuff like that. The balloons, the food, and everything. So I thought it was cool. I definitely enjoyed it. I always have to kind of laugh at things like that because that's not my personality per se, but you know, it's kind of cute to see Melissa get excited to throw me, you know, birthday parties and things like that. And it was something else I was gonna say about that. So yeah, she cooked all the food. So she went there in the morning, cooked all the food that day, went out and shopped for all of the decorations that day, driving around all of that time, but I'm in the house thinking that she was her brother. And I had called her one time to ask her about the paint, and I'm like, she was mad short with me on the phone. Like, what was that about? That was kind of strange. Especially when it comes to like colors and stuff. I'm like, I feel like she would be like, oh, I like colors. I figured that would be something she want to talk about. She was like, nah, I want to get yellow. Get the yellow. Get that one. All right, bye. So I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I said, I'm in the house by myself with my kittens. We chilling. And then she made this cake. I don't have no pictures of it. You have pictures of it probably? Of this cake. I thought it was store-bought when I first saw it. It had Oreos on the top of it. She put a lot of work into this. It was double layered, or it was double level cake. I was just like, it was a lot that went into this. So, you know, thank you, baby, for my surprise birthday party. You know, even though there's still one thing that I haven't got for my birthday, which we got to talk about after this podcast. So whenever you ready, let me know. Because so during the week, what had happened was I had planned to go to Philly on Thursday because obviously it's a surprise party. I don't know the surprise party on Friday. So Melissa's like probably seething in her head, like I probably turning red, smoke coming out her ears, and I'm like, yeah, maybe we'll go to Philly on Thursday and, you know, come back. We ended up being out there for mad long. Like, we kind of got out there a little bit later than we like to, and we didn't get back home until like 2:00 in the morning. I think was it 2?
Yes, it was around 2.
It was like 2:00 in the morning. So from 2:00 in the morning, Melissa woke up from the day before. She drove us home that day. So she woke up after driving us home for 2.5 hours, woke up and then went and ran around New York City to get all of these different decorations and candles and food and make food for my birthday. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. She's amazing. But I just, like, in my head, I know it, but I have to, if I don't show it, she don't know that I know it to her. That makes sense? Yeah, I'll figure it out. The women know. The guys are probably like, what are you talking about, bro? The women understand what I'm saying. So that's something that is cool. Like I said, I think a lot of guys would be like, yeah, that was cool. Like, we have to be, as guys, we got to be cool all the time. You just got to be a cool dude. You cannot be cool. It's just how it is. There was something else that happened last week. I played basketball. What are we doing Saturday? We've been chilling for most of the days. Probably.
Saturday we didn't do a craft fair.
Yeah, we didn't do a craft fair. I mean, listen, that's fine with me. I'm not. The life update for last week was pretty irregular, other than my birthday and going to Philly. This week is also going to be probably somewhat similar to that. But you know what that means? That gives me more time to talk about the topics of the day. All right. So let's see. I almost forgot. I did get money from my dad, who has passed from like 2 or 3 years ago. I don't even know. 2 years ago now. I don't even know. Like, I don't really think about it. And it's like $750. So that's gonna help with paying, different bills that we have for the month. So that really came in clutch. And then the $1,000 from the driving, and then Melissa's gonna be working. So like I said, we make a little bit of money here and there, a little bit of monies. I can't remember the episode playback that I wrote down, but I do know that I need to enunciate more in the intro, which I tried to do more today of. I think that helped. I also always think that having energy and doing a podcast makes it better. And what I mean by make it better is that I enunciate more. It sounds better. It's easier to listen to. I think I can get more of my thoughts out more cohesively. So that's good. I do want to start. I just want to speak better. That's all I can say. I want to get better at speaking. That's one thing I really want to do. That's really if episode playback. There wasn't much to talk about as far as that goes. I did listen to it though. For the first time in a long time, I have listened back to the video or the podcast, because for the last couple of months I've been putting them out before I listen to them. So I haven't really done that in a while. So this was the first time, and it felt good. Now, on to Donovan's question of the day, right? So this was a question from a couple of, maybe last week or the week before. I asked Melissa, would you rather get money from family and friends or money from a bank? Mm-hmm. What was your answer?
It's the bank.
Okay. And I feel the same way. Now, Winston, All Things Electrical. He was the one that said that he would rather get money from friends and family. And he said he would much rather pay back them with interest versus a bank. And it's just something I had to think about. I was like, I never really considered that before. If I had to choose, I would much rather borrow money from a bank. My reasoning for that is I think I will be able to leverage more money down the line. So that's how I'd prefer to do it with. But then it made me think, if I'm going to pay it back with interest, should it be better for me to give that money to people I know so that they can do better? So if let's say someone lends me $100,000, interest of 20%, they get back $20,000, as opposed to the bank who gets that money back. In my mind, I looked at it like this: the more money I get from the bank, the more money I can use to help the people closer to me. So if the bank gives me $1 million, I have to pay them back, $100,000, $200,000 on top of the $1 million. That's $1 million that I can then move around with my family and friends, as opposed to my family probably doesn't have $1 million in cash to lend me. So it wouldn't really benefit them to try and scrounge up $1 million if they could. I don't know if that's even possible to do, and then me pay them back that money, as opposed to someone. At that point, they have zero risk. If someone else gives me money and I just use it on them, as opposed to they give me $1 million and now they have risk in it and they only get back $200K. It's like, I don't really know if that's the best option for me. So that's why I personally would go with borrowing from a bank. What was your reasoning? Do you remember?
My reason is that it's less emotional, or it's less, I feel less emotions in that transaction, where it's if let's say we borrowed $1 million from a family member, and then something happens where they need money immediately, or something like, or maybe they just want their money back soon, or like, you know, I don't feel comfortable having that there in a relationship. I'd rather deal with a third party where there is no real, like, nothing, no lines, no wires to be crossed, and it's more transactional.
Yeah, and I would much rather lose the bank's money than my friends and family's money.
Right.
If something crazy were to happen, that's how I look at it.
Cause I ain't losing no sleep over losing the banks. File for bankruptcy and that's it.
Right. Yeah, I figure that out.
Right. Like, I feel like there's a lot of ways to maneuver around that. I feel like with family, it's like, damn, morally and ethically, I feel.
I gotta see you at Thanksgiving.
Right. Like,
you have my real number.
So that ends the relationship.
Knock on my door.
Right.
Donivan, what do you mean you don't have my $1 million? I had to switch my account to. What are you talking about? I don't care. But you had a business account with an EIN. I don't care about none of that. Where's my money?
So.
Very different conversation.
Right.
Bank got to go through all these processes to call me. You can't. Bank might call me too much. I'll be like, it's harassment. I'm suing you. Like, my family, they're like, oh, you sue me for harassment too? Okay. All right, Donivan. Bet.
Right. Like, I don't want to.
And family too, friends and family. So, like, yeah.
And then the other family that ain't got nothing to do with it, gonna be in it. It's just a lot. It's a lot.
Bruh. And like I said, I think it's a lot easier to get money from a bank and lose it and get money again from them again. I feel like, as opposed to if I borrow money from my family, I lose it. I'm like, all right, guys, I know I lost y'all last $1 million, but I need another $1 million. Can y'all find a way to get that for me? They'll be like, Donivan, I hope you die. Like that. Like, I feel like that is the only recourse that could happen from that. So like I said, that's something I thought it was funny when I never thought about it before. Like, who would I rather ask money from?
100. Bro, do you know how many banks we had spoke to before?
Bro,
talking to family, like, that was always the first option. I
think now what I would do is, if I was to borrow money from friends and family, it would be when I don't need the money. Well, I mean, now I need it now, but before, like, in the future, I'd borrow from them still, just so that they could get money back, because I feel like there'll be less risk because I would be more experienced. So it's like, hey, if I get this $1 million deal, or $1 million not even really that much money, which is crazy to me. Let's say I have this $100 million deal. You put in your 20,000, you know, you might get back. I could probably pay you back 100,000, you know, something like that. So either way, that is it for the Donovan's question. Now, topics of the day. The first one I want to start with is still in relation to the last conversation I had with my girlfriend, Melissa, last week. Because we had spoken about the comments and we were just going back and forth about it, right? And I would say that there was emotion involved initially from Melissa's end about the conversation that we're having. And in that conversation, we were kind of going back and forth with, I wouldn't say back and forth. We were going back to that dynamic where I'm not showing or giving emotion to the conversation. And as a guy, I was saying that it's frustrating because, for one, we're told not to be emotional. That's what we're told. As human beings, our whole life, you are told not to be emotional. If you are emotional and you're a man, you can no longer be a man. That's just kind of how the game is told. You are supposed to be strong by holding in all of your emotions, no matter if it's painful physically, if it's painful emotionally, if you're sad, anything that is not possibly laughing or anger, you can't have those emotions. So we do our best. We have a lot of practice, decades of practice to suppress our emotions, right? And I don't think women on average have that suppression because they don't practice it. They have no reason to usually practice it, so it just comes out. So it's frustrating to have that conversation because it goes back to, if I'm saying something about what we're talking about and you don't feel the emotion from me, then you're going to feel like I don't understand what you're saying. So it made me think, what is the purpose of emotions? Like, I don't understand. Why do we need them? What are they for? Do they help us more than they hurt us? Why do we get them? And the conclusion I came to was that emotions are a form of communication. It is honestly the main form of communication. And everything else comes after that. Another problem that I have with talking to, usually, I would say Melissa, in situations like this, is that if I'm in a regular good mood, right, and she's upset about something, what'll happen is, until I become emotional about the thing, I don't feel as though let me scratch that. This is how it normally goes, and I think guys will be able to resonate with this. Your girlfriend will get you mad, and then when she gets you mad after she was already mad, she'll go, okay, and then walk off and feel better, right? And as a guy, it's frustrating because we're suppressing the emotion the whole time. Normally the girl might be crying, she's sad or screaming or whatever the case might be, and we're like, we're being very logical. What's going on? What's happening? You're mad at me, you're mad at this, you're mad at that. What is it? And I think that frustrates girls even more because they feel like, you're not hearing me. I'm telling you this thing, you're being logical, you're telling me, well, if the person is being mean, just leave them. Don't talk to them no more, right? And this is like miscommunication in that conversation. So for me, it would be frustrating because once I now become emotionally attached to the conversation, it's usually a woman I'm talking to. They will now feel better. So now I'm left feeling with an emotion. Actually, shout out to Hunter, because it's an old friend of mine. He put up this thing called a emotion wheel, and I've been looking for this for forever. Like I couldn't find one that was this good. This one is amazing. So I'm gonna put it on the screen. These are emotions that I don't have the word. What do you call the feeling wheel? These are words I don't use in my everyday life. And if y'all remember, a while ago, I had a conversation with my therapist, and we talked about using more words that are connected to emotions. I think a lot of times guys avoid these words because for that exact reason. Okay, boom, here's a good one. I think when I talk to Melissa and I feel as though she brings her emotion to the conversation so that I can bring mine, and then leaves with me still feeling, or me having emotion about it, I feel resentful because I feel like I was manipulated into getting emotional so that she could then leave. And this is not just for her, but I'm using her as an example because she, that's who we are here. Now, this happens across the board. It happened with my family members. I've had videos on here of talking to family where that's happened. Ex-girlfriends, regular female friends that happens to. So it's a very common thing. And as a guy, most of the time, we try to be as hard as we can, where we don't let that emotion kind of get inside of us, right? And as soon as it does, boom, they feel better. They start laughing, they giggle, and they run off, right? And now we're left holding a bag of emotions. So for that reason, I tend to not put emotion into things because I don't want to have to deal with that. because now I feel the type of way and other person doesn't feel that kind of way. So as we were talking about, I started thinking, like, why is that? Is that a purposeful thing? Is it manipulative? Is it I have any other words on here that I can use? I don't know any words on here I can use. Is it a hostile act? That's a good one. It's a hostile, right? Because it's almost kind of like embarrassing. That's another good one. To drum up that emotion in somebody else and then leave them with that. So I'm like, I don't want to have this conversation, because as soon as I bring my emotion to it, you'll feel better, and then that'll be the end of this. Melissa said she's not doing it on purpose, right? She said, I don't try to do that on purpose. That's not what I'm doing. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna try and take that in and then self-reflect on why I think this happens all the time. And here is the conclusion that I came to. Is that emotion is a form of communication, which is what I said earlier. And if Melissa is trying to communicate that she feels something to me, right? That's where it starts at. She feels something. Let's say she feels joy. She feels, she feels judged. She feels insecure. She feels playful. She feels courageous. She feels loving. She feels guilty, right? She feels any of one of these feeling words. And what she's trying to do is get me to feel something, feel what she's feeling, like just the feeling itself. So now step 2 would be, how do I communicate that feeling to Donivan so that he can then feel how I'm feeling, right? Because this is my theory. I think that is how someone else understands another person by actually feeling how they feel, which is why I think we even have emotions in the first place, is to communicate with each other about maybe it's dangerous somewhere else. Hey, this is a good food to eat. Hey, I'm happy for you. I feel happy. I want you to feel happy. I think that's where it starts at. So then what happens is we have 4 or so layers on top of that emotion that comes to communicate to someone else how I feel. Because let's say Melissa right now feels, what's a good word on here? Horny, proud. Let's say Melissa feels proud about something, right? So she goes, okay, I want Donivan to feel what I'm feeling. That's where it starts. How does she do that? Right? You don't think about this. This is crazy. If she feels proud inside of her, I will not know that. If my eyes are closed and I'm sitting here and she feels proud about something, I wouldn't know. She has to either say something to me, right? She has to do something to me, or I have to see her body language where I'm like, okay, I can tell that she's proud about what she's doing, right? And all she's trying to do is get me to feel the emotion that she is feeling. And that's communication. So I bring it back to what we talked about earlier, where if she's sad about something, right, and I'm not sad, let's say I'm in the house, I'm chilling, I'm all in a good mood, I'm like, yay, we all happy and we good. And then she comes in and she's sad or upset about something, and I'm like, okay, what's going on? Her main goal is for me to feel sad. Hostile, okay? I'm trying to communicate to you how I feel. Because here's the thing, right? Let's say Melissa was sad about something. She came in the house, she goes, Donivan, I had a very hard day at work today, and I'm gonna try this again. She goes, Donivan, I had a hard day at work, someone called me a bitch. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. What you do? I left. Damn, okay. That'll be it. You know why? Because there's no emotion in what she's saying. So to me, if you are not communicating emotion to me, I'm not going to feel it. So now for her to get me to understand how she feels, and again, it's not a hostile thing that she's doing. She has to do emotional act, whether it be crying, whether it be pouting, whether it be leaning on me, right? Whatever the thing is, it's like, I need you to feel how I'm feeling right now, Donovan. Now, here's where I started to learn something about this, right? Because when I first started thinking about it, I thought, but I don't want to feel sad. Like, I'm fine. Like, I don't want to feel that. And I think the reason that I have an issue with that is because I put too much weight on emotions. And I think that's a huge difference between guys and girls, because girls, I think, will have an emotion, get it out, and then it's just gone. It's like, all right, boom, I was sad, I was crying, I was mad, I'm done now, let's go back to doing what we were doing before. In my experience, guys be sitting there just like, what? Like, nah, I gotta hit something. I can't just feel this emotion now and not get it out. That doesn't work for me. So I think for me personally, I know that's why I choose to try and keep them in, because I don't know what to do with it once I have it. I'm just sitting here feeling foolish or inadequate. There's some good words on here. Or inferior is the good words. And I don't know what to do with that. So as I'm doing the laundry, it hit me as like, okay, maybe it would be better to engage in the emotion almost as much as possible, right? And then just let it go. And that's it. What do you think about that?
When you say engage in an emotion, like, when you feel an emotion, what do you do?
What kind of emotion?
Sad, anxious, impulsive.
Which impulsive?
Huh?
Which one you gonna pick? I'll tell you.
Discouraged.
I do nothing.
Impulsive.
I sit still.
Happy.
Try to keep it under wraps a little bit.
So it sounds like every time you feel an emotion, you just try to not feel it.
A little bit. Try to keep it under. Try to control it.
I don't think that there's anything wrong with that, because I do feel like being on the opposite side of the spectrum, constantly moving with my emotions. I don't think it's always the best thing. And I know how it feels I think how I feel trying to suppress my emotions is the same way that you would probably feel trying to let your emotions out.
The same way that you try to suppress them. No, you try to let them.
When I try to suppress them, I'm assuming is how you feel trying to let your emotions.
Well, how would you define trying to suppress it? How would you define, like, what is that feeling like to you?
To me, trying to suppress my emotions feels like it feels like trying to sit still. Like, if you had, like, imagine you had, like, drank 5 cups of coffee and then tried to sit still and not move an inch, not move, not twitch, not move, not scratch nothing, not shake. Like, you're just trying to sit still. I feel like that's how it feels like to suppress an emotion.
Yes. So yeah. In that regard, I would say yes. Something else I thought about too is that there are a lot less repercussions for women expressing their emotions, even in a public space, because I think the big one I always go with is anger or hostility, right? Or selfishness. Let's go with those two. Because if a woman is hostile outside, people kind of ignore her. Like, okay, just walk around. Like, a guy being hostile always has to think that someone can hit me. So any of these emotions that a guy thinks about, it's like, okay, if I'm lonely and I display loneliness, somebody's gonna say, bro, if you don't shut the fuck up, talk about you lonely, bro, go fuck some bitches, right? That's what happens. A girl say I'm lonely. What a guy say? You want me to come over there? You know, your girlfriend might say you want to hug. You want to talk on the phone, right? There's no guy I could call gonna test it out right now. I'm gonna call some guys. I'm gonna say, bro, I'm mad lonely right now. I'm gonna see what happens. I want you to call some of your female friends. I'm gonna call Tori. I'm gonna see what he says. All right, here we go. What's up, man?
How you doing, brother?
Just feeling real lonely.
Yeah? What's going on?
Just just feeling like I'm by myself out here. That's all.
Yeah, you working hard by yourself, you saying?
Yeah, man. Just like I said, just sometimes you just feel real lonely,
Yeah. I understand. It be like that sometimes. Yeah. I totally feel you. How you been doing with your candles? Y'all been still doing your craft fair thing?
Yeah, it's been going good. It's been going good. So I'm on a podcast right now, right? And so I was doing a theory, right? So the topic is guys expressing their emotions, right? And one of the things I was saying is that for guys, most of their life is about suppressing their emotions, right?
Yeah.
And that is why I think that girls are able to express them more, because there's no repercussions for expressing them. So,
Yeah.
what are you gonna say?
I said these are facts. I 100% agree.
Right. So, if Melissa calls her friend and says, I'm lonely, it'll be a very different conversation than if I call you and say I'm lonely, because we're wired differently from that perspective. And I don't even say we're wired differently. I think we're conditioned differently from that perspective.
I agree.
Right. So I think she might call her friend and say, I'm lonely. Girl, oh my God, what's going on? Let me tell me what happened. I can't believe that's what's going on with you. Right? Bro, you lonely? Listen, man. Look, I hear you. That be happening to me. I feel like, what you want? What's the solution for that? How can we fix that loneliness? Like, is it because you by yourself in the house? You should probably go outside, play basketball. Are you working by yourself? You might want to add somebody to the group. Whatever the thing is, let's try and solve that, and we could erase that loneliness thing. So that was my theory.
I agree. I think kind of the first part of that is, of course, you have to kind of quantify what lonely means, because to some people, lonely means, hey, I've been sitting in my house for 48 hours, I ain't seen nobody. For other people, it's like, I'm lonely, like I haven't talked to anyone until we having this conversation for the past month.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but yeah, I think that's the truth. That's the truth. It's different for women,
right? Mm-hmm.
It's different for women, especially in the emotional communication aspect of it. We're as men, we're not really taught how to have those conversations, to be honest. And if we do have those conversations, especially with somebody that's not a man, they kind of, I'm not gonna say they chastise us, but they kind of make light of it a lot of times.
Right. And I think for me, the reason I would make light of it is because I don't really know what to say.
Yeah.
It's like, so the con I was having with Melissa earlier was that, I was kind of talking about on the podcast, is I think that when a woman comes to a guy with an emotional conversation, we don't give that same emotion back because we're taught not to do that. But I think that's because we put too much weight on the emotion. And I think that it would be easier if we just were to, let's say in a situation where she's sad, it would be easier to just be sad as much as we can for, let's say, 5-10 minutes and then let it go. But for me, I don't necessarily think I could just get to being sad and be like, all right, now I'm not sad no more.
Yeah.
It might last a little bit long, because I think that's because I don't go to that space often enough for me to be able to just snap out of just being sad.
Just turn it on and off. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I feel you. Dang, that's true. I hadn't even thought about that, but yeah.
So that's something that I'm trying to figure out, because this is another thing I was thinking about too. Is a lot of times I feel like if I'm talking to a girl, that they'll have an emotional response to something, and then they want me to have the same emotional response, and then once I have it and now I'm emotional, they're like, okay, I feel better now. and they just go about their day. Like they could be mad about something, they bring it to you, and now you mad, and they like, oh, you mad? Now I'm good. Okay, whew, now I feel better now.
They be want people to validate their emotions.
Right?
Yeah.
So for me, I was just like, okay, it feels manipulative to me. That's how I always interpret it. Like, okay, all you want to do is get me mad so you can see me emotional and then be like, oh, la, 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 I feel better now. Right? That's how I interpreted it. So I've been trying to what you said?
Yeah. I was going to say that's kind of, I'm not going to say that's stuff that females do, but that's how they are. They kind of, that's how they're wired. They're wired to be, and it might be a little bit of conditioning too, is, to be emotional and to share those emotions. And when I say share, not just mean like verbally share, but share somebody else feeling how they're feeling. So if they having a bad day, they pissed off, they gonna come home, they gonna fuck with you. You like, damn, why you picking with me today?
Right.
Because they want you to be in whatever mental, emotional space that they in. And as soon as you fucking blow up, now they're like, oh wow, this is a little too much. and being like this no more. Let's not fight anymore.
Bruh, I know that you experienced this, because I'm like, it can't, bruh, it's crazy, and it infuriates me, because I'm like, I'm fine before you came into whatever we're talking about. So like I said, now I think what my solution is, or what I've been playing with the idea of, is it's the reason that happens is because I don't use that emotional muscle enough to turn it on and off. Because if I have to, like I said earlier, if I have to get sad about something or angry about something, if I just turn it off, I feel like I'm being manipulated. Like if somebody makes me angry and goes, you angry now, and I'm like, nah, now I gotta fight. Now I have to like do something back, because I have to now put that emotion back to you, if that makes sense. Yeah. As opposed to being able to just kind of let it go. So like I said, that's something that I think that I'm trying to understand how to do, is have the emotion and then let it go.
Yeah, I think you definitely onto something. That's some serious introspection shit. Serious introspection. As men, we accept the emotion, but we don't just like turn it off. And we also don't get to like, we don't have the luxury of sitting in that emotion.
Right.
Because we're producers, we're providers, we're protectors. It's kind of like, okay, that's fine, but the shit that got to get done still got to get done. So you do whatever you got to do while we're getting this done, and we'll see you then. Not saying that all women can't, but I think that's kind of, when people be talking about the masculine women and stuff like that, is they let that emotional part go. And they just become 110% goal oriented, and they be cold, and they be bitches, and they be, the emotions kind of get out of it. And that's kind of, that's what makes a woman. That's part of what makes a woman feminine. Being able to access her emotions, and kind of see things that we can't see from angles we can't see, because we operate on two different planes most of the time.
If I'm talking to Melissa or anybody, like mostly women, if they get me upset or any type of feeling, I'm like, okay, what is the solution for this? Let's get to the next step. And then it's always a miscommunication, because they're like, you're not hearing me. And I'm like, I heard you. Here's a solution. But I think it's more so about, they need to know that I'm feeling what they're feeling. And
they need you to validate what they're feeling.
Right. And I think the only way to do that is for them to feel the emotion from you.
Yeah. To feel that you feel what they feel.
Right.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly agree. I think, like I said, just as men, we kind of be like, okay, this is what's going on. This is how you feeling. That's good. That's great. What are we doing because of that? What are we going to do to make that either not happen or happen more, whatever the case may be? We don't really dwell in that. But like you said, that's just because we haven't been taught to, kind of sit in that and work that muscle and learn how to deal with it and process it, so we can not necessarily turn it on and turn it off, but not be sitting in, I'm pissed off for 3 hours.
Right. Right. I'm thinking about it now. My assumption of most women when they're being brought up is, if they are feeling an emotion, they are usually told, it's okay. You can feel that. Like, just feel it, and it'll go away. And I think you do that enough times, you go, okay, I've been angry. It went away. It was fine. As a guy, it's like, okay, you're angry. You can't. You shouldn't do anything with that, because there will be repercussions for using that emotion.
Yeah.
So you have to just hold it.
That's kind of, based on, I'm not going to say how you react, but, just like how you react to something. If a woman gets pissed off and she starts throwing shit and this, that, and the third, people say, oh my God, she's, they're not going to say she's right. They're going to be like, she's wrong, but there's not going to be any repercussions.
Right.
If you get into some shit like that as a man, people calling the police.
Yes.
Like, for real, you're going to have to be trying to explain to the police why you was acting like this in public.
Bruh, you know what's crazy too? Even if you yell at a girl in public too crazy,
will call the police.
They'll go, oh, he's about to beat her up.
Yep. They'll automatically take it. But that's because it's like, it's just, it's viewed as different. And I guess partially because physically, we can technically be more violent than a woman can be. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, she may get mad, she may get pissed off, but it's only so much she can do. You know what I'm saying? And it sounds kind of fucked up, but that's just what it is. Only so much damage she can do to somebody else. Mm-hmm. But as a man, you can seriously injure or kill somebody because you get pissed off.
Yeah.
And not even have to use nothing else. Like, with your hands, it could be a major issue. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're not actually feeling lonely.
Listen, I'm not gonna lie. I think, well, here's two things. For one, well, with you personally, I definitely think that you are good at handling emotions. I think that's because you had to work with people a lot and manage people. But I also think your response to me saying I was lonely was a good response for a dude to hit another guy. Like, I feel like, cause I feel like there definitely could be responses that are like on one side of the spectrum for guys, and then I don't really know any other guy to go to the other side of the spectrum where it's like a woman. I don't really know what that even sounds like for a guy. Dude, oh my God, bro.
We wouldn't even know how to take no guy if he acted like that.
That's what I'm saying. I would really, because even if I said that, right? You said, "Bro, you want me to come to your house right now?" I'd be like, I don't. I'm like, and do what? Like, and you gonna hold me? Like, what you gonna do when you come here? Like,
it's even as we kind of get older and we work on ourselves and we kind of learn to express and understand and realize emotions and deal with it, there's only so far it can go. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a man, we still are men. Regardless of us understanding one another and us having love for one another and us technically taking care of one another, we still are men at the end of the day. And as soon as we cross the line of making somebody not feel like a man, I feel like you're going to have problems with that too.
Yeah. Right.
It's like, nigga, why you fucking trying to coddle me in here? It's like, hold on now. I don't need you to come fucking rub my head.
Bruh, yeah.
Let me talk to you a little bit, and kind of keep it like that. All right, y'all be safe. I'll talk to you.
All right, man. Later.
All right.
Okay. You wanna? Okay. I don't think anyone will do that. I think all of them will be like, "Oh my God, girl, what is going on? You want to talk about it? Oh my, tell me about it." That's like and like I said, I don't think. One thing that Tori said that I like, or I guess that resonates with me, is that. I mean, I don't know.
The validating thing?
No, it's. There's only so much you can do to communicate to a woman, I guess, while still having to be a man. So that's something because I'm like, I'm kind of on the fence with that, because I'm wondering if having that emotional side makes you a better man or less of a man.
Why would it make you less of a man?
It's a good question. Because men don't have emotions. So the more emotion you have, the less of a man you are. Because think about it. A man, here's how it looks.
Yeah, we have emotions the whole time.
But right, this is how it looks. We don't express them. You have a.
You express them in violence.
That's all of our emotions. Happiness, we punch you. Sex, we punch you.
What?
Anger, punch. Depression, you make me feel sad, I punch you. That's it. But I think it's like this: a guy that expresses no emotion, right, is ultimate man. The further you move away from that to express an emotion, you become a woman.
Sure.
But but I'm saying that's how guys interpret it.
I see.
Right, you become more manly the less emotional you express. And that's, I don't necessarily know if that is the correct way, because I don't think it is. But because society has said it is, it seems like that is currently the best way. But I don't think I agree with that. I think the best way is to completely be 50-50. But I don't know if you can get to, and honestly, I wouldn't even say 50-50. I would say is to know how to discern when to use one or the other. But you should have 100% of both and be able to go, okay, this needs a full emotional thing, and then boom, I turn it off. Like, perfect example, right? I don't know if I'll call it suppression. Maybe it would be suppression. You feel emotional about something. Mm-hmm. You bring it to me. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll cry. I don't know. I feel like that's mad gay. So I start crying, right? You cry and I'm crying. Mm-hmm. And you start feeling better because you start seeing me crying. Like, yeah, he really crying. And you stop crying, I go, suppression, turn it off.
That was good.
All right. I think that's like ultimate guy. That's what I think. I think ultimate man is like, you have the ability to suppress it like that. As soon as she's done, you go, all right, babe. I can't believe you did that. Me neither. I can't believe it. Oh my God, it's gonna be okay. Why are you crying? Who's crying?
I don't think that's. I don't think we want you to mimic our emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to know that you feel something in your response.
So I shouldn't cry when you cry. Don't cry.
You don't have to.
But what if? You sure? You sure? Does that work? Is that good?
It's like, I think the thing about the logical responses is that it feels cold. It doesn't. I can tell that you're not feeling anything. I just want you to.
But we are though.
You're not.
We're not expressing it. But sure, go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, if you are feeling something, I'm not.
Right. Yes.
It's
I agree.
Coming out in your words, how you're saying it.
I agree.
When you do say it with emotion, I can hear it. I can feel it. And it's like, okay, this is your essence. This is your truth. This is how you. This is not just a solution.
Mm-hmm.
This is the root.
Okay, I don't know what that means.
Because I feel like the solutions that guys try to come up with is like, okay, you got to cut. Put a band-aid on it, like,
yes,
okay, but put some Neosporin, put something like, it's an action step or something like that,
right?
As opposed to like, I know I can put the band-aid on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm upset that I cut myself. Like,
I mean, that honestly, that makes a lot of sense. What you just said is a bar. That's a low-key bar. It's a low-key bar. It's like, I know I can put a band-aid on, but I'm upset that I cut myself. Because as a guy, we look at it as the problem is the cut. But the problem is that you are mad that you got cut.
right.
So you want to feel better about getting cut. You don't really, I don't want to say you don't care, but you care less than the guy thinks you do about the actual cut. Because if you come to me and say, I cut my leg, I'm going to be like you said, what do you want me? You want to put something on it? What do you want to do to it? As opposed to being like, how did you do that? What's going on? How do you feel? Do you feel better? Like, you want me to massage it for you? What do you want me to do? Do you want me to, like, that kind of thing?
I feel like that's still solution oriented.
You think so? Okay, yeah, so what?
I think it could be like, is that still a solution?
What happened? You want to talk about it?
Right. What happened?
Tell me what happened.
Yeah.
What? He cut you off on the bike? No, he didn't. I can't believe he did that to you. I hate when it happens.
The next thing also wouldn't necessarily be like, what solutions can we put in place so that this doesn't happen again? It's also kind of like, how do we get you to feel comfortable doing this thing again?
Ooh, bars. That's a bar. That's a bar.
Because like, if I'm cooking now and I cut the tip of my finger off, I might feel a little scared cooking again.
That's a bar. Like, that's a bar. I write that down. I need to start writing a book for these things.
So if it's more so like the goal, I feel like, should be more so oriented to like more kind of centered towards the feeling, because that's what the problem is.
That's interesting. That is very interesting. That's what I'm saying. This is like, okay, so wow. I wonder if other men could pick up on that the way I did, or if it resonates with them like that, because I don't think the problem, wow, this is deep. Okay. The problem isn't that men are solution oriented. We're solving the wrong problem. That's the problem. We think the problem is the cut. You hurt your foot. The problem is, I hear you saying you hurt your foot. Your foot is the problem. That's the problem, is your cut. The problem is, I'm either angry about this thing, how it happened, or like you said, I don't feel safe doing this thing again. And a guy will be like, well, just do it again. Just don't think about it, right? And I think the solution for a guy would be, how do I make my girlfriend feel comfortable doing this thing again? How do I, okay, for that one I get. Now, if you were to stub your toe and be mad, because I know when you stub your toe, you always think it's me, no matter what happens to you. If you hit your foot or anything, you look at me, look with me. So I'm trying to figure out, in that situation, how would I, let me see, you feel like it's me.
I don't know, because with the smallest stuff, it's just like, that is kind of like, just get over it. You'll be alright. Or like, I think, for me personally, everything's outwards.
Yeah.
I don't really try to look in.
Right, and like I said, it's so crazy because it's really emotions. Because I can say, like, if you stub your toe, right? This is what I would do. Something I would do. You stub your toe, I would say two options. I could be like, you're pretty. All right, that's one option. You can be like, what? Right? Right. But I think that I don't know.
I think for larger things, where this would apply, more so than the smaller ones. I think for the small ones, because like I said, it's solution or fixing the thing that's like actually, I guess I wouldn't say what's actually wrong. Fixing the physical thing isn't a problem. If the problem, like, if I see it as okay.
You have an example? Okay.
The tripod.
Yes. Okay.
Initially,
he was mad at me.
Yes.
I could tell, but I don't know why.
Because I'm like,
you thought I broke it?
Yeah. I'm like, this is you, obviously, because you went and played basketball.
I felt that.
You went and came and played basketball and came back. No, first I was mad because I'm like, you don't disassemble the stuff the same way I disassemble it. Okay. So, like, I had picked it up and the shit moved, and I'm like, alright, I guess. So then I fixed it so it's not moving no more. And then I went to open the thing. I'm like, damn, I'm a girl. Can you please not tighten it that tight? Like, why you did it that tight? So that's why I'm asking you. I'm like, hey, can you open this, please? Because I can't open it. Right? I felt what I felt. I realized, like, okay, that's not real. Like, I can't be like, why you tighten this so much? So I have to ask you, like, could you just, because that's the solution to the problem. The problem is I can't get that open.
Uh-huh.
So then when I saw you struggling with it, I was like, yeah.
Right.
Okay. And then I walked away. I was like,
And it's, like I said, I felt that. Right? And that's okay. So I think we identified parts of the step. Now I'm trying to figure out what's the right course of action in that moment, because I think the right course, it's tough. Okay. See, this is why there's a problem. Okay. The right course of action, I think, would have been to be angry at me.
really?
I think so. But this is, okay, I look at it as like, you ever see like the true false statements type of thing, where it's like, or 0, 1, like the binary. Okay. So I feel like, okay, originally what you did was say, hey babe, can you do, well, you felt a certain way, right? And then how you responded to it wasn't true to how you felt. So that was a false statement. The first one was false.
Okay.
Right? So then you responded with a, hey babe, can you do this? Which is a good statement to do. I think that's good. Right? However, I still felt the thing, because the first step was not true. I felt it. So I was like, okay. So I did it. And you went over there. Right? What I think, and then my response was trying to open it or whatever, right? The most fluid, which would have been all true statements, right, would have been you getting or saying how you felt about the tripod, right? And but this is where the problem comes in, and this is on my end, with my response, because my response would be false normally, because I would be irritated by you saying that to me, but I wouldn't do anything. Like, I wouldn't express that emotion. I would just be like, all right, like you're annoying me by doing what you're doing, so I'm just gonna untighten this thing.
It could go that way, or it could go another way.
What's the other way?
The other way could be like, what are you talking about? I didn't use the tripod, or that's not my fault, or like it could have been like more of a back and forth.
Right. So that's possible. Okay. So this is my theory. Okay, I'm gonna try to finish this out. I think my response should be to get mad, or to show my emotion. Right? Because once I show my emotion, you will feel better. Your emotion will go away. Right? And I got my emotion out. Right?
That sounds like the married couples. The old married couples.
Right. Exactly. It also sounds... there's a Spanish couple that always... I forgot their name.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't remember their name. Y'all know who they are. They want to be hitting each other, I think. I don't know their names.
Why are you looking at her ass? Well,
right. Like, your pussy fucking stink, and right, that kind of thing, right? Right. So,
but it holds no weight because you just got it out.
Exactly. And I think the more, like, let's say you do something, right, that I don't like, I'm gonna be thinking about it, like, she fucking did this thing, and I'm just sitting here seething, thinking about it all day. It's gonna fuck me up. So the solution at each step is to have the true statement on both ends. The problem will always come in when one of us goes to the false statement, because now the response to that won't be accurate to it going like a full line.
I see what you're saying.
Right?
Because I'm going to keep responding to what's not the problem.
Right. So now here's where some of those lines get kind of, you got to figure that out. There can't be any violence.
Right.
And I think there shouldn't be name calling.
Right. I was going to say it shouldn't be disrespectful.
Right. I think being loud, I feel like it's fine. And yeah, I think I feel
like it's a thinner line, because like, how would I say that to you? Like, damn, you you didn't
whatever. That's not how you would say it. Because that what you're saying right now is a guy saying it with no emotion.
Why are you tying the thing so tight?
Probably something close to that. Because it wouldn't be like perfect English. Like, Donnie, why is this shit so fucking tight? I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about, Melissa? Why would I kind of fucking pick it up? I can't fucking, you know I'm a girl, right? What the fuck is wrong with you? I would be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right? And that would probably be what you're doing would probably happen. Where it's like, and then we probably have sex. Like, that's probably what happened. Like, that would be the climax to everything. Where it's like, oh, okay, we got that out. We're good now. Okay. And we'd be sitting here. We wouldn't even be thinking about it. Like, you wouldn't be thinking about this if that was our response to when it happened.
Yeah.
So
I think it got kind of quiet.
Right, exactly.
He was over there. I was over here.
Right. That's why I'm like, I knew something weird is happening, but I'm like, I don't know why something weird is happening. And I'm like, okay, if she said something to me like,
you could have been like, what's your problem?
right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So exactly. So both of us are not doing true statements all the way down. If we're true all the way down, this problem gets solved easily. But this is hard to replicate in an environment where people either raised differently or mostly are raised differently, because they're gonna have to get used to saying that kind of stuff. There's an NBA team that says they do all the time, the Miami Heat. They say, listen, if you have a problem, say the problem. We don't got time to be, I'm trying to figure out why you mad about, I don't got time for that. We're trying to win a championship. We don't got time to be asking you these questions, bro. Tell me what's wrong. We can argue about it, we're going to fight, whatever, cool. But we're going to finish doing that, and we're going to come back and play, and we'll go eat afterwards. So I think that's one of the problems that I think guys have, is that we hold onto the emotion. And I think it's because as a guy, there's different things. Yeah. And one thing, I'm going to end on this too. One thing I have noticed is, if I'm bothered by something and I say it when it happens, it sounds less like what I'm trying to avoid by being emotional. That makes sense?
Like, if you say while it happens, it doesn't sound as emotional?
Yeah. Like, it doesn't, no. It doesn't sound as what I'm trying to avoid by being emotional. I think...
Okay, so you think that if you were to say, like, that hurt my feelings.
Uh-huh.
To you, it sounds like you say, that hurt my feelings when you did that to me.
If I wait. Right. But not if I say it immediately. I think that's what happens. I think the more we wait, the more it sounds like, remember that time when I was like, you don't remember the thing and okay. Like, I think that's what happens. But I think if you say in the moment, it's like, bro, that hurt. It don't sound like the bitchy thing you're trying to avoid. It's like, damn, you really hurt me. Like, that shit really fucking hurt my soul's hurting right now. Like, damn, I'm about to cry. That's fine.
That sounds funny though.
But that's what I'm saying, because then at that point, the emotion goes away. It doesn't turn into like.
Okay, it doesn't sit and fester and grow.
Right, and now you let it out. Now, because this is one thing I learned too about crying. I think I told you about this before. I was in college. I had cried because I wanted to practice crying. I didn't do it. I was just like, I told you this, and I was just like, okay, I need to cry more. I know it's supposed to be healthy for you, but I don't understand why I'm gonna do it. So I remember being in my bed. My roommate thought I was crazy, psychopath. I'm in my bed as a grown ass man, or 18, just screaming and crying, right, trying to push this fake ass cry out. Tears came out of my eyes, and I'll never forget this moment, because in that moment I remember telling myself that felt like ejaculation before emotions. It was the craziest thing to me. Like, the fact that crying felt like a very similar release to. Oh damn.
Just me.
Yeah. Okay. So I think that because I held the emotion in for so long, it feels like that. and that comes out as crying. I think the faster I get it out, the less I have to worry about crying, because I think the crying is all of it being built up. The faster it comes out, the less it turns into whatever the next step of an emotion is. So that wraps it up for the podcast, and see you next week.